Hello class. Today I want to show you how we can use Desmos to graph different functions that we have learned in our Math 124 class. Please go to desmos.com, and like other free website, you can sign up with your username and password and you can get in for free. Here I am able to log in with my Google account because of the fact that I use Desmos a lot. After logging in to Desmos, click on Graphing Calculator and try to graph some of the basic functions that we have learned so far. I also want you to use a transformational function, which is moving up, down, right, left, stretching or shrinking it vertically or horizontally to make the shape that you want to graph. For this specific exercise, I want to make the shape of an eye and just using just the functions. I'll go over it, and after watching this video, make sure that you make one of these for your discussion board and take a screenshot of this page for me and post it up on our Canvas shell. So let me start with a parabola, which is an x squared function. But I want to have an eye shape, meaning that I want this distance to be a little wider. So if you remember, you used to have a coefficient, and the coefficient should be smaller than 1 in order to make it a little wider, right? And then since this graph starts from 0, 0, I want to move it down 4 units to make my eye shape. So I'm going to do -4, right? In order to have a clear-cut graph, I can restrict my domain. As you can see here, the domain will be area numbers. Can you see that? It starts from here and it goes down to here. But I really just want my domain to be between these two lines, these 2 points, right? -6.325 and +6.325. It means that this piece and this piece is extra for me, which I don't like. In order to restrict your domain in Desmos, you can use a brace, and I can say that this was 6.325, and then use this little keyboard to use less than or equal to, then X, then not here, over here, and then less than or equal to 6.325, right? So if I'm back to my graph, as you can see, I restricted my domain and it looks fantastic over here. This is part of the eye shape that I wanted to graph, right? For the next graph, I would like to have the exact same shape, but a mirror image of that, right? And if you remember, for having a mirror image, you can have a negative f of x, right? So if this guy is f of x, negative f of x is going to reflect it with respect to the x-axis. So let me call this function f of x because I really don't want to write down the whole function here. It's not here. It should be right here, right? Equals. And I'm not going to repeat the whole function here. I'm just going to ask Desmos to graph a negative f of x for me. And as you can see, my eye is beautifully done over here, right? And now let me make something over here. If you remember, the absolute value function is going to give you a V shape, right? So this is V shape, but I don't want it to be here. I want it to start from here. So I can say that I'm going to go 4 units down, right? with the exact same steps that we did with the parabola, I want to restrict my domain. I want just to be in between -4 and 4. Can you see that? So let me make braces here and say -4. And my x is in between -4 and 4 and close the braces. And as you can see, when I'm back to the graph, it looks like this. This is perfect. Again, I call this another function like h of x. And then over here, I can ask Desmos to make negative h of x for me, right? So as you can see, this is a beautiful eye that I made, right? Now let's make some eyelashes, okay? Remember that the radical x is going to give you this shape, right? But first of all, I really don't want it to start from here. I want to start it from the ending point over here. Where is this ending point? Try to just hover over it. Can you see that it's 6.325? It means that if I move my function to the right 6.325, I end up being here, right? So let me move it. As you can see, for moving right or left, you need to work on the x, not the y. So here, I'm going to move it to the right, so it's minus 6.325. As you can see, I'm using all the information that I learned in my Math 124 class to graph this function. Another thing is that, as you can see, if I make this graph smaller, this is going on up to infinity. I don't want that. I want to cut off my eyelashes somehow. So the x starts from 6.325. I can say that I wanted to stop at 10, right? Cut it over here. So in order to do that, I can make braces over here and say 6.325, then use this keyboard again and say that it finishes at 10, right? Look at my beautiful eyelash over here, right? Let me make it a little bigger, right? And then let's see what's going on. I want to move this a little bit to up and left to come somewhere around here. I can say that I'm moving it up 3 units. First of all, let me call it a g of x because I don't want to repeat my function, right? And then I say that take the g of x, which was my function, not like that, g of x, right? And then I will ask Desmos to move it up 3 units, right? But I don't want it to be here. I really want it to be here, right? So I need to move it to the left. Moving to the left will be working on the x again. And left is positive. It means adding something to x over here. But what is that thing? Try to understand what is the x of this unit, this point. The x of this point is exactly the x of this point, which is, as you can see, 6.325, right? What about the x of this point? What is it? Is 3.2. So if I subtract 6.325 from 3.2, it will be 3.125, right? So I can say that here I can add 3.125, and I will end up being here, right? And it looks perfect. And now over here, I can say that I'm going to go up 1 unit and end up here, right? So let's call this function over here something like t of x, right? T of x is that function. So in order to move this function up here, I need to move it up 1 unit. So it will be t of x, first of all, up 1 unit. And then I need to move it here. It comes, this is the x of this point is 0, right? This is 3.125, right? What is it? No, it's not 3.125, it's 3.2. So let me move it 3.2, right, to the left. And because of the fact that I'm working on the x, I need to add 3.2 in order to move it to the left. Can you see my beautiful eyelashes for this eye? So I can continue this fact and finish up this beautiful artwork with use of all the functions, right? So for your assignment, I want you, based on the criteria that I post on the discussion board, make a graph like this for me, an artwork for me, using the basic functions that you know, and also all the transformation of function rules that you know, and take a picture of this page for me that includes all the functions that you use and also the graph that you made, and then submit it online for me.